You know that feeling? You're scrolling through social media, or you're at a reunion, or maybe you're just having coffee with an old friend, and they tell you about their promotion, their startup that just got funded, the house they bought, the milestone they hit, and you smile. You congratulate them. You mean it genuinely. But then, later, maybe that night, maybe in the shower the next morning, there's this feeling, this tightness in your chest, this voice that whispers, "What have I been doing? Where am I? Did I miss something?" It's not quite jealousy. Or maybe it is, with a little splash of it. But it's more than that. It's this creeping sense that everyone else got a memo you didn't receive, that there's a race happening, and somehow you're behind. The feeling of being left behind. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Not in an abstract way, but in that very specific 3 a.m. kind of way. 'Cause I feel it too. And I want to talk about it today. Not to fix it, not to make it go away with some easy answers, but to actually look at it. To ask, what is this feeling really telling us? And what if it's not what we think? Let me tell you where this started for me. When I was in my 20s, fresh out of business school, I had this very specific idea in my head. I was going to be the first one to become. I actually remember thinking, I'm going to be the youngest CEO of a multinational company. Not just CEO, the youngest CEO. You see how specific that is? It wasn't enough to succeed. I had to succeed early. I had to beat the clock, pack maximum achievement into minimum years, as if life was graded on speed. As if doing something at 30 counted more than doing it at 40 or 50. There's nothing wrong with ambition. I want to be clear about that. But this particular flavor of it, this obsession with being the youngest, it reveals something, doesn't it? It's not just wanting success. It's wanting to prove something before time runs out. Before you become... what? Too old? Too late? Ordinary? I didn't have the maturity to see this then. I just had the drive, the hunger, the blueprint. And I was certain, absolutely certain, that this was the path. Life had other plans. Life took me down different paths. Again and again. Roads I didn't choose, at least not consciously. Opportunities that looked nothing like what I'd mapped out in that business school library. Some of those paths taught me things. Some broke me open in ways I needed. Some just happened. And I kept thinking, this is a detour. I need to get back on track. But what track? The one I decided on at 24? Fast forward to my 40s. I'm trying new ideas. Starting things. Failing. Starting again. Still looking for that thing, you know? That breakthrough. And I'm in these industries, these spaces, and I see them. 25-year-olds leading companies, making decisions, getting featured in articles with words like prodigy and visionary. The exact age I once imagined for myself, doing the things I once dreamed of. And there it is again, that feeling, that tightness. Did I miss it? Am I too late? Am I left behind? But here's what I've been sitting with lately. Here's the question that won't leave me alone. What if this feeling, this uncomfortable, sometimes painful feeling of being left behind, what if it's not actually telling me I'm late? What if it's an invitation? Stay with me here. When I see that 25-year-old leading something I once dreamed of, I have a choice in how I interpret that pang in my chest. I can take it as evidence that I'm behind, that I failed, that I missed my window. That's one story. Or I can take it as an invitation to question something much deeper. Whose timeline am I measuring against? Whose definition of success somehow got downloaded into my brain back in business school? Was youngest CEO ever really my dream? Or was it what I thought would prove I mattered? What I thought would make me worthy of what exactly? And then the bigger question, the one that actually matters. What is my life for? Not in some heavy existential crisis kind of way. Just genuinely, simply. What is it for? Is it to check boxes on some universal timeline that exists nowhere except in my imagination? Is it to match the pace of people on completely different journeys? Is it to prove something to ghosts? To my younger self? To my parents? To some invisible judge keeping score? Or is it something else entirely? Every wisdom tradition, and I mean every one, talks about this in some way. Buddhism talks about how comparison and attachment to outcomes create suffering. The Tao Te Ching says, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. There's this concept in Hinduism and Buddhism of Dharma, your unique path, your purpose. Not a purpose that everyone shares, but your purpose, your specific curriculum in this life. Ram Dass used to say, be here now. Eckhart Tolle built an entire teaching around it. This moment is all there is. When you're worried about being left behind, you're literally missing out on the only thing that's real. Now, what if everyone is on their own timeline? What if your 40s aren't late? They're exactly on time for what your soul came here to learn. I know how that might sound. It can feel like spiritual bypassing, like we're just making ourselves feel better about not measuring up. But I don't think that's what this is. This isn't about lowering the bar or giving up on dreams. It's about questioning whose bar it is in the first place. It's about asking whether the game of comparison, the whole framework of ahead and behind, even makes sense. Think about it. Comparison assumes everyone should be on the same path, heading toward the same destinations, at the same speed. But what if that's like comparing an oak tree to a river and asking which one is ahead? They're completely different things, doing completely different things, on completely different timelines. You are not behind. You are not late. You are on your path, whether you can see where it's going or not. Now here's where it gets interesting. Here's the paradox I'm living with. I can know all of this, intellectually understand it, even feel the truth of it sometimes, and still feel that pang when I see someone younger making it. Still have moments of doubt. Still wonder if I've wasted time. And you know what? That's okay. That's human. The spiritual work isn't about eliminating the comparison or the jealousy. It's not about never feeling left behind again. It's about noticing it when it happens, seeing it clearly, and not letting it drive the car. It's the difference between, I feel left behind, therefore I am behind and I need to panic, and, oh, there's that feeling again. Hello, old friend. What are you trying to tell me today? The feeling becomes information, not verdict. A doorway, not a prison. I spent my 20s trying to be early. Now I'm learning what it means to be on time. My time. So where does this leave us? I don't have this figured out. I'm not standing on a mountain having transcended all comparison and arrived at perfect peace. I'm in the middle of it, just like you might be. But here's what I'm learning. The only moment I can actually miss out on is this one. Right now, this present moment. And whenever I notice I'm worrying about being left behind, whenever I catch myself in that spiral, that noticing itself is a kind of arrival. Because noticing is presence, awareness, waking up. Maybe the question isn't, am I behind? Maybe the question is, what would I do? What would I create? How would I live if I stopped measuring myself against everyone else's journey? What if where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be? Not in some deterministic, everything happens for a reason way, but in a deeper sense. What if the choices you made, the paths you took, the so-called detours and delays, what if they were teaching you something only you needed to learn, shaping you into someone only you can become? What if all the fun really is in the journey, not the destination? Because here's the thing about destinations. You never actually arrive at them. You reach one goal, and there's another one. You hit one milestone, and the finish line moves. That game is unwinnable. But the journey? This moment, right now? This is all we ever have. This is where life is actually happening. So the next time you feel left behind, try this. Take it as an invitation. Get curious. Ask whose race you're running. Ask what your life is actually for. Ask if the person you're becoming is someone you're proud to be, regardless of the timeline. And maybe, just maybe, you'll realize you're not behind at all. You're right where you need to be. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What does being left behind feel like for you? And what would change if you stopped measuring yourself against everyone else's clock? See you in the next one.